Hi, and welcome to another joyful video where I will be talking to an expert on different elements to do with growing businesses and marketing. Today we're joined with Remini Armitage, who is part of Brilliant and Human and is an expert in turning customers into advocates. Hi, Remini, how are you doing today?
Yeah, good, thank you. Thanks so much for having me.
Thank you for joining us. So today we're going to be talking about how we can turn our customers into advocates and how we can use customer insights not only to guide our marketing and to make sure that we're speaking the same language as our customers, but also to grow our services and make sure that our business is offering absolutely the best across every single element. So what does that mean? Like, what is turning your customers into advocates all about?
Well, I look at it as that, your clients are the core part of your business. They're the most important part of your business, so they need to be nurtured. So I look at how you can turn your existing clients into advocates so that they'll become loyal, they'll recommend you, keep working with you, and become friends. So I believe it's important to just nurture those relationships with intention to look at how you can improve every element of the way you're engaging with your clients to improve that relationship so that they do become advocates.
Yeah, I love that. And I really love the idea of your customers or your clients becoming like your friends. And I mean, one of the key things on how to get your customers and clients to become like your friends and to build that element of trust is to get to know them like you know your friends. And I know that when you and I met, we were attending an event together and you were interviewing people to find out what their experience of that event was, which is how you and I then became friends. So tell us about that process. Like, why were you there? Why were you interviewing people?
So I typically will interview my clients or customers and look at ways of improving things by listening to their clients and getting often there's common themes that come out of the interviews. I might do 10 interviews, I might do 20 interviews and find out how a business can nurture their relationships, listen to their clients and get the feedback from their clients to look at ways of improving whatever it is within their business. And then actually, I believe it's pretty obvious, if you are listening to your clients, you can understand them better and then you can service them better and improve. So that's kind of what I do in a nutshell, is improve relationships and by interviewing my clients to find out what's working and what's not.
And it's not just about improving relationships with existing clients, is it?
No.
How can businesses use the insights that they get from their existing clients to bring in more clients?
Good question. I mean, I think that the key thing is to, I always say, think about who your ideal clients are and target and understand them and get to the absolute nub of what they're all about. Where do they go? What do they read? What are they engaged with? Why do they love you? And then repeat. And then, if you can go to those places, whether it's online or you're publishing things, or, if you're thinking about your marketing or your messaging or your positioning, if you've interviewed your clients and got that information from your clients, you can then hopefully find more of the same, because you don't want to work with idiots that you don't like. So go for the people that you like and try to repeat them. Yes. So yeah, that's it.
Yeah, and I completely agree. Like, before we do any kind of work, we always start with, well, who are you talking to? Who even cares about what you have to say? And how do you know that they care about what you have to say? And if you don't ask them, then you can't really know, can you?
No. It's interesting, because when I speak to my clients, the clients are often very surprised by what their clients are thinking. So I was speaking to someone the other day, and they so my client was saying, oh yeah, no, our client really likes us, they're really happy, all good. And then when I interviewed their clients, yes, generally they were happy enough, but they actually said that they were my client was a bit too laid back and chilled out, and actually they wanted more structure. I know, they wanted more structure, more process. and actually, although they liked the human element, they actually needed to have a bit more focus on the way they were being treated. And so, what my client thought the score they were going to get, they were expecting sort of 90%, and actually their client came back with a 60%. And actually just a few tweaks in the way they engage with their client can actually improve that relationship and probably keep their client more for the future. And
yeah, absolutely. And also what we know about advocates is that it's not just about continuing with their work, it's also about enrolling other people into it and referring and bringing more people into businesses as well.
And it's also about empathy and actually listening to your clients and understanding and wanting to understand their challenges. And especially at the moment with this pandemic thing that happens to be going on, small thing, it's not about selling, absolutely not about selling. It's about engaging with your customers in a human way and actually being flexible, listening to what their challenges are and understanding what their clients' challenges are, and then potentially looking at how you can adjust the way you're doing business to nurture and service your clients better so that they can service their clients better. That sounds really convoluted, but it's, it's about, really understanding the issues that are going on across the board and enabling yourself to service those better.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And I think because we talk a lot, rather than talking about the marketing funnel, which is just about shoving people at the top, kind of sausage meat-esque, and throwing them down until they become a customer, and then kind of losing them when they do at the bottom. It's more like that flywheel effect where everything feeds into every single part of the business, and it just keeps itself going through that momentum of constant feedback, constant value, and constant reassessing of that value.
Yes, and you can only do that by speaking to your customers. I mean, and actually looking at how you can improve things. I mean, I've got one of my clients that I worked with. I did a whole client advocate program with them. I interviewed all their clients, and over the course of a year. And the three things that kept coming up were lack of communication, lack of processes, and proactivity. They were generally a really well-respected agency, really well-liked, and very, very good at what they did. But just they needed to tweak various elements, and like some of their younger members of staff were scared of picking up the phone, silly things like that. And actually, they by kind of intentionally changing the way they did their business and engaged with their customers. When I did the follow-up calls, because it's not about just getting the stats and stuff, it's about actually ensuring that the businesses are accountable to their clients. So then when I followed up with the calls, their clients didn't have any of those complaints. It was all about the fact that they wanted the business to be more strategic and consultancy led. And it meant that, so they had a whole new service that they were able to offer their clients. Within 6 months, they were making 40% profit off the back of what their clients wanted. And without those calls, without those interviews from someone who's outside it, who doesn't, actually, I'm not going to get offended if someone says, oh, they're dreadful, or, whatever it is, it was great. And I think it's important to listen to your customers, obviously.
Yeah, well, you say obviously, but it's amazing how few businesses actually have that as part of their criteria for development. And I see, I've worked a lot in market research, and quantitative and qualitative market research, and so much now seems to be placed on like machine learning and big data gathering, and ignoring the qualitative side of it, which is, like you said, that human to human connection. When actually, if anything, in the modern days of the technological advancements and the separation that can create, I feel like it's more important than ever to physically connect with, or maybe not physically, but
not
human,
yes,
and connect with your customers in that way.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I feel really passionate about that, and I get very excited about it, because I think it's so important to keep that human element to the business. And one of the things I do is I help businesses by putting actual client advocate processes into place so that they will look at when they should be speaking to their clients. You know, when they win a project, why did they win it, or why did they lose it, and learn. You know, 3 months in or 6 months in, what's happening? Is the client happy? Is there anything that could be done to improve it? You know, if a project comes to an end, follow up what worked, what didn't. 6 months later, when they finish the project, actually, is there something else they can do? And actually just putting those processes in place so that they're engaging regularly makes them human, and actually makes them loyal. And it might be that someone moves on to another business, then they've stayed in touch. I've got people who were actually potential clients and clients from years ago, 20 years ago even, who are friends now. And I mean, I should just say that my background is marketing, business development, so I was always building those relationships. I don't like the whole cold calling thing, but it's all about nurturing human relationships. And that's why I started doing the client advocacy work, because I think that there's a lost opportunity within businesses to look at your existing clients and nurture those relationships.
Yeah, I completely agree. And I think that applies to whether you're a business to business or business to consumer. It's all about building those really strong, loyal communities of customers or clients who, you know, really feel like they are valued as individuals and not just another number on a spreadsheet, or, you know, another zero next to your cash balance. It's really about understanding them and caring about them as people.
Yes. It's like people sort of say to me, oh, you're a researcher, and it's like, no, I'm not. You know, yes, part of what I do is research, but for me, I'm a relationship builder. And, you know, I'm almost like a counselor between a client and their customer, because I listen and then I can feed back. And it's scary. I mean, the businesses that I work with, they're I don't think I'm intimidating, but sometimes the stuff that I come out with is can be harsh.
Yeah.
I had one client where their feedback was like, you know, because I do it qualitative as the core, but also I do some numbers, but their customer feedback was averaging about 22%, which was not good. And after like 4 calls, I was like, you really need to stop. I need to stop. You need to fix things and build those relationships up so that people trust you. And because trust is so important, empathy and trust, 2 of the most important things. And actually deliver what you're saying you're going to deliver. They had a brilliant marketing team, but just weren't delivering. And so they listened, and within 4 months I started doing the interviews again, and their satisfaction levels went up to 74%.
That's incredible. So how many months it went from 22 to 74?
In 4 months.
That's amazing. And I think that's a really great insight into how, you know, even when it feels like you're pushing water up a hill, actually just to take stock and really go back to that human element can change everything in such a short space of time.
Yeah, it's just actually, I mean, the thing that they just needed was to talk to their customers and actually put their hands up and say, I'm sorry, we've overpromised. We can't do this. We're trying to deal with that. And admit you're wrong sometimes. I know they say that, you know, never apologize, never explain. Sometimes it's okay, you know, especially if you are wrong, you know.
I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think that's really like old paradigm business of like, business, the customer's always right, but actually not, because we're never going to apologize. So
yes.
Think they're right in a manipulative fashion with never actually accepting any responsibility.
Yes. It's really important.
Yeah, and I think that kind of, I mean, I'm guessing when you speak to these people, even just the fact that they've got somebody in and that they show that they care enough about the client's opinions and how they're feeling and who they are, to have somebody do that work for them shows quite a lot, like builds quite a lot of trust there too.
Yeah, no, I mean, the feedback, it's very nice for me. The feedback I get from people is actually the fact you're doing this shows that the company cares. And actually it's so rare that they get anyone doing this, that it makes them feel good about it. And even if they're coming back with some pretty harsh feedback, doesn't happen that often, but when it does, you know, it can really boost a relationship. And then the other thing, I mean, you know, another client of mine was saying, who has overall all very happy clients, but what he came back with was, when I'd done the feedback, was it had opened up conversations with his clients that he couldn't have had before, because he, you know, it's like the happy clients and those people who are advocates want to help you and want to help grow your business and want to help improve your business. So they're happy to give you some, sometimes a little bit critical feedback, because they're like, well, I really like you. I want to see how I can help you improve.
Yeah.
And then it can open up great opportunities. And then equally the at-risk clients, they're brilliant to talk to. Scary, but you can get so much good stuff out of it. Those in-between ones, they're fine, but you don't get as much out of them. So it's the advocates and the at-risk are brilliant to talk to.
Yeah, I can imagine that it must be very interesting as well to be able to kind of really dig deep into what makes a person who they are. And behind every business there are humans, like,
yes,
surprise like,
yes,
it's the bizarrest thing. We've spoken at length about how odd it is that business has always been traditionally run with this kind of clinical, standoffish approach, and now that's changing massively, and people want to do business with people, and it's really exciting to see where that's going and how many businesses are popping up as a result of doing business a different way.
And actually, I think, whether or not it's working for an agency or someone who has a product, or whether or not it's a coach, you can get so much out of it, and and actually find out how you can develop your product and improve it. I mean, I've got a product that we're working on at the moment, and we stopped to get client feedback, and actually what we've done is like, okay, actually so much really good feedback, we're now putting it on pause while we develop it further to get it right, and then we're going to launch it properly, because we're like, well, actually we want to get it right the first time, and it's important to get that feedback. So yeah, it's I'm obviously I get very excited about it.
I do too, because it's massively a key piece in the work that we do as well. And when you have that piece of the puzzle in place, everything else comes much easier. It's much easier to communicate with people when you understand them, rather than make some assumptions, or you're coming from what you think is the situation. Like, actually having that information about who your people are gives you a much richer relationship with them.
And it's even like, I'm doing a positioning piece with a client at the moment, and I'm helping them I'm doing an online form, and then once we've sent the online form, got the kind of the stats from the clients, we're then going to follow up with doing a slightly more in-depth phone interviews, because actually you when you get numbers from people, that's great online, and really useful if you do it en masse. But actually, like, the more I interview people, the more I realize, of course, people are just people, and some people will never give a high score. Some people think, say, if you're scoring out of 10, a 5 is fine, that's kind of normal. Other people think that's terrible. And so actually, numbers, as great as they can mean absolutely nothing. Because until you actually speak to them and gauge the person that you're speaking to, who's giving that feedback, that's the only way you can really truly find out what those scores mean. I mean, one of my clients was like, oh no, we got us 60% or whatever it was, that's awful. I was like, no, they really like you, but they only give like 6 instead of 10, so don't worry about it. They've actually given you good feedback. Whereas if you've done it all online, you'd never know that.
I think that's a really, really, really good point. And because people are nuanced, and that, if we think how much noise there is out there when you're talking to potential customers, or even to your community of existing customers, if you're going based on a one-size-fits-all assumption, then you're not going to stand out in that din. You need to be tailored. You need to know exactly who you're talking to, and talk in the language that they understand, about things they actually care about.
And understand what they want as well, and listening for that, and then actually you can then get the right results and improve whatever it is you're doing, which is good. So yeah,
exciting. Okay, so just to summarize then, if someone's watching and they have never really thought that hard about turning their customers into advocates, what are the 3 things that they need to be aware of, and how can they go straight after watching this video and do something to implement this?
Well, I think the key thing, be proactive in your communications with your clients. Stay in touch regularly, put a system into place. It's not about selling, it's not about getting quantitative data, it's about understanding your clients. Have the empathy to listen, understand their challenges, and be flexible, especially at the moment. If possible, speak to your clients to find out how you can help them and service them better and their clients better. And then, get that feedback to see how you can improve. And then the other thing is, as you try to look at the way you engage with your clients, is there anything within that client journey, the human client journey, that can be done to improve the way you're speaking to them? Should you be picking up the phone more, or should you be sending a more detailed email, or whatever it might be? Try to look how you look at, if everything you do and the way you engage with your clients, you're thinking, how can I turn that person into a happier client or an advocate? Then you're going to be getting yourself into a better position. As I said, the 3 things that my clients often have the biggest issues with is proactivity, be more proactive, better communication, and have decent processes. So, if you can do that, you're going to be in a better place. But ultimately, just be human, engage in a human manner, offer to meet up for a Zoom coffee, just be nice. That's it. Those are my top tips.
I love it. It's perfect. Thank you so much for joining us, Remini, and thank you so much for watching, and we hope that you have got a little bit more understanding of how you can be more human in how you deal with your customers and how you grow your business. Thank you, and have a lovely rest of the week.
Thank you.